And we are live. All right, Blended Family Playbook. It's your guy, Marcus Holmes, the Blended Family guy, coming to you on this amazing October 14th. Man, this Sunday, it's a good Sunday. I'm in Pittsburgh. It's a little chilly, more than Houston. So some of y'all might think it's hot. It's like 55, 60. Houston, I just left 85-degree weather. So it's going to be a good broadcast because I'm here looking over the Pittsburgh Pirates baseball stadium. But I got a good friend on the line, Edward Smith. His wife is on the way. They're an amazing blended family. We got a great show coming for you. Here's what I want you to do. Share, because sharing is caring. And I want you to share often. I want you to tag people that you know need to listen to this great information on blended families. They are noted authors. They are certified relationship coaches. And they have a very interesting twist on how they crafted their book, which I want to touch on. So even in us talking about blended families, we're going to be touching on a little bit of the business side, what they're doing, how they created this, why they created it, and a few little touch points on some best practices. So as you know, with the Blended Family Playbook, we're always touching on families, but we're also blending that business. We're blending all those things that make people great, make families great. So this is going to be a good show. And here's the awesome thing. And I was telling Eric this. I said, Eric, it's okay that your wife is on her way, because my wife, as y'all know, if you've been watching over the last several months, sometimes she calls in, sometimes she adds her commentary. She can't be with me because she's with my son. She's doing something on her own. And guess what? That's what blended family life is about. So I'm just letting you know. See, my dad has already joined, Eric. He's already commenting. Dad, I'm glad you made it. This is the man that made me. My mom, she, of course, carried me 9 months, but these two people are always supporting me. So glad you're on, Dad. I'm here. It's going to be a great show. Eric, tell us a little bit about the Smiths. Tell us a little bit about the Smiths.
So the Smiths are marital, premarital counselors. We do a lot of workshops in relationships. We do anything from one-day workshop all the way into weekend workshop to a full 7-day workshop. As a matter of fact, within 2 weeks we'll be going to Costa Rica, where we will be doing a workshop there. We will be spending approximately 5 days there. And then once we get back, we're going to be in Haiti for another 7 days. So, you know, and that's just what we do. We became blended as a result of divorce. I was married before. My wife was married before. Unfortunately, our relationship did not work out. And so I don't want to say we knew my wife since she was 13, you know, and we grew up in the same church together and stuff, but she got married and went her way. I got married and went my way. But fortunately for me, I stayed in New Jersey, but she moved away from New Jersey. So when her relationship was not working or did not work out, she came back to New Jersey. And so I saw her, and I gave her my number, brother, and the rest is history.
Wow. So that, and it's funny, that's how it works sometimes, right? I'm going to tell you, it's funny. That's almost how my mom and dad's relationship worked out. Had known each other, been boyfriend and girlfriend. And Dad, correct me if I'm wrong, when they were like in 2nd or 3rd grade, right? They were boyfriend, play boyfriend and girlfriend. Right. Went kind of their own paths, I think, right after high school. And then lo and behold, a few years later, after they both had been in relationships, they created a blended family and ended up getting married. And they just celebrated, correct me if I'm wrong, Dad, I believe 43 or 45 years earlier this month.
Wow, that's awesome, brother. That's awesome, man.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Look who just joined me, brother.
We see, look, we see it. We see how you doing.
Hello.
Hey, I understand you handling family. I see it. I see you. I see you. So
Yes.
hey, and I see people already commenting. Taria, we have some people from the islands on the show. Taria is from, and Taria, don't get me to lying. She's from the Caribbean. She's from the islands, but Taria is going to correct me on that. I believe it's from the Bahamas. She is my social media manager. So Taria is from the Bahamas. My dad said they had been dating since sixth grade.
Wow.
And have been married 47 years. 47 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm letting you know that I love your story already. People that are listening, share this broadcast. All right. I want you to share it. And then if you know somebody that needs to hear this, that is on the brink of divorce, is on the brink of throwing away a second family, only because they're frustrated. I want you to tag them on this broadcast once you've shared it. And then I want you to go and buy the book. This isn't a sales pitch. This is a life pitch. You need as much blended family support as you can get. This is a family that believes in it, is living it. They're not doing fake. This family lives this thing. And so you need to be listening to them. You need to immerse yourself in that blended family life and don't give up. So share it because you care about it and listen because this is going to be a good one. So Smiths, oh man, and Taria just said she hears the accent. She hears the accent. She hears the accent. And she's from the St. Thomas Virgin Islands. That's what it is.
Thomas. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, so tell me about this the Smiths. How did you come up with the name? Just give us a little bit more background on the Smiths, and I know it was tough. I know that there had to have been something that called you to want to write this book, to start this mission. What was it? And normally that comes from pain, right? That comes from a struggle. What happened there?
Yeah. So I guess I'll jump in here.
Right.
So, when Ed and I got married, we expected this perfect family once we got married, right? This ready-made family. Here are the kids. Here's the wife. I knew there were some things I needed to change from my first marriage, and I tried to change them, but it was still rough. It was hard. Because I had been independent. I had been a divorced mom of 3, doing it all by myself. And here I got with this alpha male, right? Alpha male, head of the family, want to do things my way. I wanted to do things my way. And so we butted heads. It was tough. And what we noticed is that the communication wasn't there. The love was there. But to communicate effectively, solve the issues. What happened is a church that we had been visiting regularly started choosing new officers. They wanted someone to take over their family life department. So they approached us. They didn't even know us. We had just been visiting here and there. And when they approached us, we were like, you want us to do what? Your family life? You don't know our story. You're barely holding on. But we prayed about it. And the Lord said, yes. And so as we begun to serve in family life, and as we begun to look at the needs of the marriages and the families within the church and the community, that's when we began to work on this thing. As we learned more, we implemented them first here in our home before we shared them with others. And we have come to realize that God put us in this ministry because he wanted to save our marriage.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So this is really good. What you're telling me is that. Oh, go ahead.
No, I said when we got together, we knew nothing about blended family, right? In my opinion, as long as I love my girlfriend at time, girlfriend when we were dating, as long as I love her and she loves me, by way of default, the children will fall right into place and love me. You know, I was in for a surprise, brother. Now I got into the relationship, and now then being the alpha male, being the man of the house, I'm taking on that leadership, and I'm rooting up a lot of stuff, a lot of culture that they have, I am eradicating that and said, no, now it's a different family. Here is something new, a big mistake. And so we made a lot of mistake as we go along the way. And as we made the mistake, thank God we recognize that they were mistakes, back and redo some stuff different.
Yeah.
We're still learning.
We're still learning.
Love it. Love it. And I think that's the realness, that's the transparency that, especially in this world of blended families, that people need to see. Because I think that's where, would you say, Smith family, would you say that that is the main reason a lot of blended families, or part of the main reason that a lot of blended families are failing, is they're not getting enough transparency from the people that could really help them? Would you say that's part of it?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I think we go into it with very unrealistic expectations. We see that has been blended for 12 years who have found their synergy, and we are just getting into it, and we think like, well, it took them a struggle. It took them, they had to go through a process to get there. It doesn't happen overnight. And so when we come into something with unrealistic expectations and we have people around us, people are just not willing to be open and honest. They're just not willing to be transparent. They want to act as if everything is okay. And oftentimes we get into these blended family relationships and we have extended family who are expecting us to fail. And so we don't want to share our struggle. We want them to think everything's great. The kids are happy. My husband is perfect. I'm perfect. You see, you were wrong. You were wrong. We're right. And you were wrong. And so what we do when we behave like that is that we kind of isolate ourselves from others that can possibly help us. That's
some good stuff. Go ahead. Yes, Mr. Smith. Go ahead.
And another mistakes that we often make is that we to family. And we want to live the traditional life in a blended family. And there are two different beasts, two different dynamic. And so you have to understand your blend and not, there are no two blends that are alike. You understand me? And you have to understand what your blend requires and feed it that. One of the things that we need to do is, and I did not know this, but as I made mistake, I realized one of the things that we need to do as a parent, to spend some time with the children. You have to date them one-on-one. You have to build relationships, and relationships is very, very important. Rules and regulation without relationship leads to rebellion.
Ooh, that's a good one. Ding, ding, ding. Eric, hold on a second. Hold on. When I'm just letting you know how the playbook works. When you drop a nugget, I don't have my bell with me. I got that from Dr. Sandra Steen. I'd be ringing my bell right now saying that's one we got to put up. Taria, I need you to make sure we get that one. Repeat that again, Eric. That's something people need to understand, because that's what my wife had to help me with too. I'm an alpha male in my family. And Chris had to help me understand, before I could start disciplining Camille, our daughter, when I inherited this wonderful treasure at age 6, I had to earn her trust before I could ever earn telling her what to do. And I love what you said, because a lot of people and a lot of males have this problem when they get into blended families where the wife already has a male child. They come in trying to, be domineering and, oh, he's going to listen to me. And I've seen 2 divorces from that because he never tried to establish relationship. And that's hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I want repeat what you just said, Eric. I think that's huge. Repeat what you just said, please.
Yeah. Now, listen, I said rules and regulations without relationship leads to rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when you build relationship with the children, it becomes much easier for you to discipline. You know, if discipline is required, but you can't discipline without having a relationship, because these kids will look at you like you have 2 heads.
Yeah.
You know, so until you can build a relationship, what you need to do, if discipline needs to take care, you need to discipline through the biological parent.
Yeah. Oh, see, this is why I know. Yeah. Okay, family, I'm just telling y'all again, I need you to share this. This is good stuff. Here's why. I run across a lot of blended family coaches, but Eric, I know that me and you and your wife, we're vibing, because that's what a lot of men and women in blended families do not know how to do, and that is parent through the spouse whose children are the biological children until that relationship is there. That's awesome, awesome advice. Parent through the other until the trust is earned. And that might always be like that. I'm sorry, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, it was the great late Dr. Miles Monroe who actually said that in one of his books. He talks about building relationships and, not having that it does lead to rebellion. And he wasn't even talking about a blended family. He's talking about even in a nuclear family, right, you have to have that trust. You have to build relationships. So, and I see, Teray, I see your comment. In our Caribbean culture, we are taught to keep your business to yourself. Mm-hmm. So how did you overcome that? And I think the way we overcame it is that as we began to help other families, there is a circle of support. But if you're not can't get it. Mm-hmm. One of the things that we established at our church when we became Family Life Leaders is something called a couples club. And once a month, married couples got together. We had icebreakers. We had different topics. We played games. And we had conversations in a very non-threatening. It wasn't about judgment. It wasn't about your marriage is great and mine is not. It was about we're all married and we all go through struggles. How can we help each other? If you're not willing to share and open up, you can't get the help that you need. So we understand where the Caribbean parents are coming from. We get it. But we know that when you know better, you do better. And it's just as simple as that.
Yeah.
Okay, this is good. This is good stuff. Go ahead.
Terry, I want to tell you, as because I'm from Jamaica, as a Caribbean, I had to put down my Caribbean culture real quick. I had to unlearn a lot of things and relearn new things so that my family could grow, because the things that I know coming from the Caribbean does not necessarily work in my blend. So therefore I had to eradicate those things and make way for new things to germinate and my family.
Oh, this is some good stuff. So, Eric, we don't have to do a part 2 on this one, because this is good stuff. Go ahead.
Wait a minute. You're giving my husband a brand new name, and he's sitting here.
Oh, I'm sorry, Edward. I'm sorry. Edward, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Listen,
there's a friend that I have. His name is Eric, and you look just like him. And I've been saying that the last month and a half.
Yeah,
Edward, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry, Edward. Y'all are doing. This is some good stuff, y'all. So, Blended Family Playbook. It is Edward Smith. It is Edward, and your the lovely wife. Give me your name so I don't say it wrong.
Debbie Smith.
That's it. So Edward and Debbie Smith.
Yes,
Great
sir.
book. Go to Amazon, get it right now. You can still listen to this broadcast on another tab. I am letting you know, Edward, here's the cool thing that I heard you say, and this is about maturity. When you just said, I had to put away some of the cultural things that came from the Caribbean, from my culture, if I was going to make this blended family work. How many people are so ingrained in, I'm of this culture, I'm, whether it's American or Caribbean or African or Italian or Asian or the Latino community, I'm carrying that trait. And my wife, they just got to make it work. Or my husband, this is just me. What I'm hearing from you is, you know what? I had to put away some of those things if I was going to make it work. That again is about maturity, and you were willing to do anything it took to make your marriage work. Y'all, I want y'all to hear that. That's huge. I want y'all to expound on that some more. Give me some other things y'all had to put away in order to make the family work.
Well, for me, it was very difficult, but it became easier as I practiced the process. And here's what it is. In a marriage, first you have to think less of self. You understand me? You have to your spouse comes first. In a blended relationship, that even maximizes itself more. You have to think less of self. Always because once you start to think more about self, that's when you start to feed your ego and your passion and what about me? Why am I not getting any attention? Why why is she telling me that I'm not her dad? And these things. But listen, you have to be for me, I had to be a husband, and I had to be more than just a husband. I had to be a father to these children, not expecting anything in return.
Oh, ding, 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 ding. There's another one. Y'all, I am letting you know, if you want to succeed in a blended family, Edward and Debbie just said it again, there is no expectation of anything in return. You might not ever get the trust, the emotional love from that child, but if you're doing it with lack of self, with wanting something in return, you will make it. But if you're expecting the hug, if you're expecting the attaboy, if you're expecting the child to say on social media, oh, I love my stepfather, I love them, they're just amazing, you might not ever get that. I'm just telling you.
Yep. And you have to be okay with it.
And you have to be okay. That's good.
Yep. And guess what? Stuff. And the biological parent cannot force that out of their children either, because sometimes we try to do that. We try to come in on the back end and force a relationship. And all that does is make the children resent your spouse even more. They begin to resent them. So we have to be really careful. We have to let the relationships kind of develop organically. We have to create opportunities for bonding, create opportunities to share different interests and hobbies and, get to know one another. That has to happen organically. If we try to force it, we will find that the children are even more resistant and more rebellious, rather.
That is good. That is good. So tell us a little bit about this book, because, I'm going to be touching on in a little bit those 5 venoms, the 5 deadly venoms that can kill a blended family. We're going to be getting to that, but I want to know, give the audience a little background on the book and why it can help them.
So, this book was truly a labor of love. It was. My husband mentioned probably about 2 years ago, he said, babe, I think we should do a blended family book. And I was like, no, no, I don't want to. No. But he kept mentioning it. And I said to him, you know what? If we're going to do a blended family book, the children have to be a part of the project, because we have not come through this journey, just the two of us. You know, it's been a family affair. And so if we're going to talk about our blended journey, we have to include the children. And so we did. And we just put it out there. Guys, we're going to write a book about the blended family. Write what you want others to know. Write your thoughts. Write what you went through. We did not sit down and plan an outline for the book.
Absolutely.
Everyone wrote their individual pieces separately. My husband probably finished, well, he did. He finished his piece first. The kids and I, we struggled a little bit. As I began to write the book, a lot of emotions came up. And I was able to reflect on some things, some ways that I failed my kids. And it was interesting. In the middle of the process, I actually sent my girls an email, pretty much apologizing, saying, listen, as I'm writing this book, I'm seeing some things about me that I don't like, that I know I let you down. I know you felt like I faded to the back, and I apologize. I'm so sorry. So, and I know that they went through their own emotions as they wrote as well. And so we started and stopped, started and stopped, started and stopped. And finally, we got to the place where we can share our pieces with one another, because what we did not want to do was put something out there that was going to be even more detrimental to our family. We did not want to hurt any of our children. I didn't want my husband to be hurt. And so we shared what we had written with one another. And just to make sure everybody's okay, before we put it out there, let's make sure we're all okay. And honestly, when I read some of what my children wrote, I said, we're not putting this thing out. We're not putting it out. You know, we are sharing too much of our business. Again, this Caribbean mentality, you know, now people that we were arguing and important to open it up, that we had to share because it was going to help someone else. And it has helped us. I think some conversations have started that we would not have had if we did not write this book. We've done a couple book tours, and just listening to the children express themselves, having them share, some healing has begun to take place. And so it's been a blessing to our family. And I know that it's been a blessing to others as well.
Yeah. One of the things that we want to do, we want to make sure that we incorporate in blended family. For those of you who out there may be listening, not because your parent means that it's right, you know, and which means that it is okay to apologize to your children.
Yes.
It is okay to go to your child or your children and say, listen, the way I approach this thing, I was so wrong, and I apologize. Will you forgive me? And once you ask for forgiven, you know, don't leave that place until you talk about some things that you need to put in place to prevent this from happening moving forward. Yes. You have to be intentional about those things.
Wow, that's a good one. I think just hearing you say that, so writing the book, it was for people, but it was also therapeutic for you as a family. And I think that's huge. And I think, again, the unique position you both took in terms of letting the children write their part of the story. I think that is so awesome. So I'm just letting you know, when we come out with our book, it's on marriage, I'm going to make sure that my 25-year-old, I'm going to make sure my 7-year-old is able to write something as well. Because I think that's what's so unique about your book.
Yeah. And, you know, the funny thing is, each one of our kids just have their own personalities. And I saw the question that just popped up. Just please remind me to, oh, no, it's not a question. It was just you repeating. Yes. When you read each one of the children's portion of the book, you get to see their different personalities, because each child is different. each child handled the blend in their own way. And so it was just interesting to see the different personalities come out in their pieces. And they didn't write, you know, three chapters a piece. You know, they each just had their little chapter about what they remember when we got married, and it was just their perspective. And it's just been a real thing. I feel closer to my kids than I've ever felt. There's some open dialogue, ongoing dialogue. I even see the change in the relationship between my husband and my children. And so it's just been a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah. And so I just want to say this real quick. For anyone that is listening, and let's say you're not married, but you're still dating each other, you know, make sure that you date the children. Yes. You have to date the children. The children you got to know who they are. They have to know who you are. Mm-hmm. The children needs to have a say-so in the process, you know, of the relationship, because at the end of the day, you will be living with the children will be living with you. And you want to make sure that, you know, the togetherness is going to be there. Now, you know, like as you stated earlier on, brother, that, you know, for some, because here's what it is. Blend come in different ways, different forms, right? From divorce, it comes from the death of a family, of a parent, etc., all those things. But let's talk about blend as it relates to divorce. Divorce is painful in and of itself. Right. But when a blend come in as a part in the form of a divorce to those children is like a member of your body is being severed. Right? And the pain that comes with that part of your body that is being severed, you know, that member that is being severed from your body. And so all through the blend, these children are going through. So it is your job not only to sympathize, but empathize with them, understand their pain. Yes. You cannot afford to come in the blend and pile on more pain on their pain. Mm-hmm. You know, you're there through the process. And so therefore, all you have to do, the only way you can do that, you just got to keep showing them love. Yep. Keep showing them love. Keep showing them love. And as we have stated, it may never come back in return. For some, it may take 2 years, 3 years. For others, it may take 20 years. Yes. It is not your job to put a time stamp on when it should be reciprocated, or if it even should be reciprocated. Your job is to love. Your job is to be the best parent that they will ever see.
That's it. That's humongous. Man, this is I'm gonna have to have a panel discussion. This was good stuff. This is some really good stuff. And Taria, she was responding how she is divorced, but she was here. Let me show that comment again, but was able to create a better relationship by acknowledging faults and taking responsibility. And I think that's the huge thing. We don't have a whole lot of responsibility being taken.
Yeah. Accountable. You know, be accountable for the role you played. Mm-hmm. You know, we have to hold up a mirror and really look at ourselves. And I think that's part of what the book allowed me to do, was to really hold up a mirror. I had not considered deeply enough my children's feelings about this blend. You know, I found my happy and I was just moving forward with my happy, but I had to consider them a little more. And I failed to, so responsibility for that part of the brokenness in our blended family was because of me and how I approached the situation. And so it doesn't feel good. You know, it does not feel when you can really take a look at yourself and say, listen, you need to grow in this area. And then you begin to do the work to grow. You see the difference. It makes it.
Man, that's some really good stuff. So while I have you here, I have a segment. Oh, and wait a minute, we got something from my aunt Cookie. Her name is. She's a real sharp lady. She says maybe you should have a national day-long conference with guests like the Smiths. Maybe launch promotional campaign and then do the conference later next year. Yeah, she's always. This is what I love about my aunt. She's always trying to figure out, okay, how can we launch this program and make it even bigger? So I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. Yes, and
just let us know. Just let us know. We'll be there.
I gotta get y'all in advance because y'all are going to Costa Rica and all these other places around the world. I gotta get you about a year in advance. Yeah. But no, I wanted to show you a clip, and I want to get your viewpoint on it. It's something that I saw on the Today Show about a month and a half ago, and it's on lawnmower parenting. So I'm going to show this video to the audience. You'll see it as well. If you're looking at this as far as on the audio broadcast, I think you'll still hear the audio come through. But I'm about to show this real quick. And I want to get your viewpoint on this. So you should be able to see it. I'm going to, let me see. All right, let me see if I can do it this way. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it like this. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so I'm going to show this real quick, and I want your opinion on it. So give me 1 second. I'm going to go into the other screen and play it.
There's a name for this now. They call it, you used to hear about helicopter parenting. Now it's lawnmower parenting.
Wow.
Yeah, which
that's new.
Teachers have coined this, and these are parents who go to whatever lengths necessary to prevent their child from having to face adversity, struggle, or failure. Instead of preparing their children for challenges, they mow the obstacles down so the kids won't experience the challenges in the first place.
That's hard. I really do believe that this is probably, sad to say, a byproduct of the timeout era. When you look at the timeout era, it was just kind of a passive way of disciplining your kids. And so now you turn back around, and now you're an adult, you have your own kids, and you just don't want to offend them, because this kind of breeds this idea that I don't want to offend my kid. I want to be on the best side. And I get it. It's a real struggle, but at some point you got to step up and say, you know what? My kid has to go through it.
I don't understand how a pain-free childhood prepares you for a life that's going to be anything but that.
Okay,
right?
thank you.
Is it wrong to want my kid to get into, a little bit of a baby fight? He's only 3 years old, but I mean, I'd like to see him.
No, it's not wrong.
Well, exactly. I would like to see him get into it a little bit and work it out on his own.
That's one of the reasons we send them to school. It's not just to learn the reading and the writing and the arithmetic. It's also to encounter challenge and adversity and figure out how to navigate it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the cold, hard truth is that in life, you lose. There's always going to be someone prettier. There's always going to be
someone stronger.
Right? And actually, how you deal with those moments determine how good and how happy you're going to be in your life. And
all right, so I want to know, what do y'all think about this one? So, lawnmower parents, give me your thoughts.
So listen, as a parent, right? I often say that being a mom is like watching your heart walk around outside of your body. When your kids hurt, you hurt. And you do want to do anything you can to protect them. However, you realize that they will not learn to manage conflict. They will not learn to handle difficult people. They will not learn self-control if we step in and handle every situation for them. Our job as parents is to empower them. It's to empower them so they can fly, And so if we're doing it for them and taking obstacles out of their way, they're not learning, they're not growing, they're not getting better. So we're actually doing a disservice to our kids. We're doing a huge disservice to them.
I would ask the question, are we trying to teach our children independent or to be dependent? Because that type of a behavior, in my opinion, is teaching our children to always depend on us, and I don't know why people have a huge problem with failing. You know, failure is a good thing.
It is.
Because it teaches you how to be successful moving forward. So with me, you know, jumping in at all times and being there for my children, I don't know if I'm doing, you know, any justice to my child. I have to, you know, as parent, you know, so when our children are younger, you know, we parent,
yes.
you know, once they become 18, 19 and these ages, now we advise.
That's right. That's right.
We no longer parent. Now we, you know, and once we give an advice, we move out of the way, let them make that decision.
Absolutely. So we can't kiss our kids' boo-boos forever.
No.
Right?
No.
You're a baby, mommy kisses the boo-boo, it makes it all better. When as they get older, you have to teach them how to take care of their own boo-boos.
Absolutely.
You know, they have to do that for themselves, and you encourage them and you support them, and you know, you're there as a resource, but they have to make decisions on their own. So I work on a college campus, right? I work with college students. I'm a career advisor. I try to help kids make decisions about their future. And we just had a meeting last week, and someone made a comment that we need to be engaged with the parents. And I said, no, we do not need to be engaged with the parents. These are 18, 19, 20-year-olds. Their parents cannot force them to come see career development. They have to realize they have a need for our services. If the parents are forcing them, what are they getting out of it? Absolutely nothing. So there is a time when we need to cut the apron strings. Our kids have to fall down. They have to dust themselves off, and they have to get up and keep going. Resilience.
Absolutely.
That's good. That's good. I as you were saying that, I said, yeah, it's almost like you're no longer telling, you're sharing. You're and that is hard. But I'm going to tell you, Debbie, you said something that I think is so key, and it's very hard because for mothers, I know it's hard. But when you said that, having a child for a mother, it's almost like seeing your heart walk around on the outside of your body. That's it. Because my wife, she loves her children, and I'm talking about, and I know it would do anything, but it's hard. It's hard for me as a dad. You know, now men are a little bit more. You know, I want my son. I want to see him. You know, scrape his knee and you know, fall a little bit, but it's still hard. You know, I'm holding back my wife, but that's still my son, right? So that's a great point, and I love that. This is some good stuff. Anything else you want to share about that video to help those parents, especially in a blended family, how to be a lawnmower parent? Because here's what I'm seeing, Debbie. Here's what I'm seeing, Edward. Being a lawnmower parent in a blended family, you almost could end up alienating your newfound spouse. Let's touch on that. Let's touch on that.
So part of it, being that lawnmower parent in a blended family, and I had to learn this the hard way, right? I wanted to always step in and be that buffer between my husband and my kids. I thought that was my job. But what I had to learn is, in order for them to work through their stuff and build a relationship, I had to step out of the way. I can't clean up everything for them. I can't step in and be the time. I have to step out of the way. I have to let them figure it out, build their own relationships. Now, has it been easy? It has not been easy, because one of my things as a mom, I don't like to hear people correct my kids. I don't. It doesn't feel good. Not because I don't want them to be corrected, but mainly because they know better. They know better because I've taught them better. And the fact that you have to come behind me and correct them makes me feel like I am failing as a parent. And so I always wanted to be that buffer. Let me step in before he says something. But you know what I had to learn, especially as my kids got older? They have to learn to deal with difficult people, difficult situations. You're not always going to agree with everybody. And so it's in the home that we begin to develop character and perseverance and resilience in our children right here at home.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Oh, this is good. Anything else on that video that you saw that you want to share before we move on to the 5 deadly venoms that can kill a blended family, and even more so, just families, period? I know that some of these can be applied to just traditional families. But anything else you want to share?
I just want to share that, we have to be careful about being that lawnmower parent, because, once you take on that role, you will alienate your spouse. And so your spouse can be drowning and you will never notice, because your primary focus now become that child or those children, because I want to make sure that, these children are falling and cushioned. They're not hitting the bare concrete, the pavement hard, and so your spouse can be so far driven from, you never noticed it, because you become that tunnel vision with your children.
Yeah, that's huge. Ooh, go ahead, Debbie.
Yeah, no, I'll just give you another example. So our middle child just turned 19. She's a sophomore in college, and she's definitely flexing that independence muscle. She wants to just do things on her own, be out on her own, and we're still trying to hold the reins a little bit. But what I'm realizing is the more we try to tell her what she should do, the more resistance we get. But when we just listen and let her talk it through with us out loud, she comes to the exact same conclusion that we would have come to for her.
Right.
Being a lawnmower parent means that you don't trust that you've parented your kids properly.
Good. That's good.
Ding, ding, ding. Hold on one second, Debbie. Hold on. Taria, make sure you get that one, because we have a whole lot of great parents.
High five, babe. That's good.
That's a good one. That's a high five. That's an internet high five. Boom.
Yeah.
I want y'all to understand that parents, listen to the Smiths. You have done a great job parenting. Look at me now. You've done a great job parenting. Let your kids figure it out on their own while you're providing the parameters. You're providing the support. But you're a great parent. Don't start doubting your parenting skills when it's needed most for them to really start figuring out on their own. That was some good stuff. Taria, let's make sure we get that one. Oh, that's a good one. So I'm letting y'all know what I do with matter of fact, just about every single one of my blended family broadcasts, blended playbook broadcasts. Whenever I get some of those nuggets, I create quotes and I share them right there. And I'm going to give you all the credit. Don't worry. It's going to be the Smith said XYZ. But that was a really good one. Good stuff. Now we got to transition, because I can't keep y'all up all night. I know that y'all have been out working hard all day. Let me ask you this. Let's start talking about these 5 deadly venoms, and we'll take any questions that come in from our listeners, but give me those top 5. What are those top 5? And if you want to just go 1 through 5 and then go back and talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 individually, however you'd like to do that. But let's start touching on these 5 things that can cripple, if not kill, a blended family.
Well, I would say number 1 at the top of the list is unrealistic expectations. Just, like I said, one of the things that happens in a blended family is, I know for me, I thought my husband was my hero. He was my hero. He's coming. He's going to rescue me. He's going to fix it. He's going to make everything better. And that's too much pressure to put on one person. So those unrealistic expectations, it's venom. It is venom in your relationship, especially when you don't communicate those expectations, right? You don't even communicate them. So this person doesn't know what you expect of them. And so when they fall short, you're mad, but he's confused. What did I do? Ooh. So uncommunicated and unrealistic expectations.
Ooh, let me change it then. Hold on. I gotta change it. I like that. Unrealistic and uncommunicated expectations, because that I've seen me and Chris, even after 18 years of marriage, well, almost 18 years of marriage, we still get marital counseling, right? And there are certain things as this beautiful rose, which is my wife, as I continue to see these new petals growing, some of those new petals come with some uncommunicated expectations that I didn't know that she's had for 18 years. And I didn't know about them until it was through discovery. And it's not a bad thing. It's just that sometimes it's the uncommunicated that can get us in trouble. And so I'm learning, to keep asking my wife. I shouldn't expect her to be the same way she was 18 years ago. She's growing and she's changing. And I have to be okay with that. That's good. I really like what you just said there. That's good.
Another one is, never you talk bad about that parent that is no longer in the home.
Ooh, I'm getting that.
Never you talk bad about that parent that is no longer in the home, especially in front of the child, because at the end of the day, this child, well, in our case, that's the children's dad, that's still their dad. And to hear me said anything negative about their father, that is venom to them. Mm-hmm. And guess what? I have just pushed the relationship between them and I maybe 20 years back or 10 years back. So never you talk that, even when they are talking bad about their dad, you understand me? Never you side with them. Never you side with them. Always remind them, that's your dad. You still have to respect.
That's awesome. That is an awesome one. It's something that me and Chris decided on early on. And I think that is why now, even though Camille calls me dad, I never, ever once told her to ever disrespect him. And when she even did, and it was just that adolescent, I'll say immaturity. I would tell her, no, that's your dad. Don't you ever disrespect him. I would not have you in my life if it wasn't for him. Mm-hmm. And when she saw that respect, she realized, wow, I can't even in me being mad, I can't say anything in the presence of dad. And she called me dad, but she knew I wasn't going to let her disrespect him. So that is an awesome point. Anything else on that before we move to number 3?
No, I think that's
but here's number 3 is, as wife and husband, never you correct each other in front of the children. Ooh. It is okay to disagree, but never always allow your children to see a unified body. Never you correct the non-biological parent in front of the children, because what you would have done with that is, by way of default, teaches the children and first to disrespect you, and second, now to start taking sides. The children need to see a unified body at all time. Once we get in our bedroom, we do all the correction that we want, but once we get out of that bedroom, it's a unified body that they need to see.
Unified fronts. Yes.
Ooh, I don't even need to say that. So let me. This is and I know, Edward and Debbie, I know that you coach couples on this, because it can get so hard with the blended family, heck, a traditional family, where you're both wanting to be right and you're disrespecting each other for the sake of being right rather than for the sake of showing unity, letting it ride until you get to the bedroom. That I think is a huge one that we had to overcome in our marriage. So I'm telling y'all, it's real.
Yeah, we did too. I would say number 4 is neglecting the husband-wife relationship. Ooh. Neglecting that husband-wife relationship. You know, we can get so caught up in the needs of the children, so caught up in making sure they're okay, that you neglect your spouse. And that is a dangerous, dangerous place to be in. You have to put your relationship with your spouse as a top number one priority after your relationship with God. That husband and wife relationship is key. And if you neglect it, you're doing a disservice to your family, because your children need to see a strong marriage. They need to know that this one is different.
Right.
They need to see it. They need to see it. There's already that expectation. There's that fear that, you know, the family might break up again. You know, what's going to happen? And so they need to see a unified front. That you cannot neglect that husband-wife relationship. Date each other, for God's sake. Go away, you know, together, just the two of you. It's okay. You're not abandoning your children. You on that relationship.
And I would say number 5 is, you know, always love. Allow love to be the center of your relationship. Love not because of, but in spite of.
Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh, I'm typing that out. Ooh, love. Give me that last part. Love in spite of. What was that before? Right there. I'm typing it out.
I said love. I said
love not because of.
Love not because of, but in spite of. You see?
Wow.
So in other words, what am I saying? That you can't love because they love you. You can't love because they are nice to you. You can't love because they do all the things that you want them to do. You have to love even when you're not getting these things. Yeah. In spite of.
Wow, that's a good one. Taria, make sure we load that one up. That's a good one, Taria. Oh, love in spite of. Man. Allow love to be the center of your relationship. Love in spite of. I would add the other, but you can only type in so much. But that was a good one. We'll make sure to capture that whole phrase soon enough. This has been a great discussion. Wait a minute, but I like this. Oh, we got Amber Renee coming in. Now this is one of my dedicated, every time I'm on, Amber is listening. Here's what Amber says. So let's read this. Let's read this. This is good, and talk through this. So Amber says, I don't fully agree that a child cannot speak something negative about the absent parent. I don't think that I ever ignored complaints about the absent parent after we divorced. I listened and dealt with the issue with my child and with their father. Sometimes he was just wrong, or sometimes I was wrong and he told me. So Amber, I'm going to go ahead and let the Smiths respond to that. And then I can respond as well. Go ahead, Smith.
So Amber, here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying as two biological parent, you should not. I'm saying as the non-biological parent, and that's where I fall in as you know, in my category. As the non-biological parent, the children should not hear me speaking anything negative about their dad.
Right. You always want to give your children the space to speak their feelings, because their feelings are their reality. You cannot tell a child that what they're feeling is wrong.
Right.
What you want to do, though, is to show them the proper channels for those having. They might be angry at their dad for something. Well, how can you let your father know how you feel in a respectful way? Right. And is it a situation where you, as the other biological parent, have to step in? Or is it something that the children can have a discussion with their father? And again, age plays a huge role here. Are you talking about a 6-year-old that's coming home and saying, you know, I went to daddy's this weekend and daddy wasn't home all weekend? As a biological mom, you step in and you say to that other parent, hey, you know, you had him for the weekend. What happened? He said you weren't there. as opposed to your child is now 16 and they're saying, you know, daddy never comes through on his promises. Well, if you feel that way, why don't you have a talk with your dad and let him know how you feel
in a respectful
way. Always in a respectful manner. So we definitely get what Amber was saying, and we agree 100%. What you said and what we said is not in conflict.
Exactly. And that's what I was wanting to say, Amber. I'm in complete agreement with you. I was just saying I never spoke against my daughter's biological father. Never did, never will. And that's the way it was. And that's what we always advise. But again, Camille, we wanted her to have a voice. And she did. That's why we still want her to be a lawyer, because she's got a lot of voice. But she got a lot of voice, a lot of opinions. But the point is that yes, we wanted her to have a voice, but my voice, my reality, my perception, I never let it impact negatively, vocally, what I felt about her father.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, and let me just also say here that when you're in this blended family situation, sometimes as the biological parent, you might have something negative to say about your ex, and you might share it with your current spouse. I want to caution those current spouses, not just with chiming in and jumping on the bandwagon when it comes to the ex, but also with the children. Sometimes as a mom, I might just need to vent about something going on with my kids. It's not open season for you to now jump in and say everything wrong and bad about my kids. That does not endear me to you as my spouse.
That's good.
So we just need to be careful. We need to know when to just listen to your spouse, be that listening ear. Babe, I understand, you know, I got you, I have your back. And when to just stay off of it. Don't jump in here.
See, so this is good. So Amber, gotcha. And that's why I figured, because I know Amber well enough now.
Yeah.
I want to make sure she understood the perspective when we stated that. So Amber, all good. But I want y'all to understand this show is one of differing opinions. I want you to feel comfortable, safe, that you can offer a differing opinion.
Absolutely. And
it'll be vetted, and I want your opinion. So thank you, Amber. Thank you for just adding that. Yeah. But I want to touch on something, Debbie, that you said, because see, Mama Bear will come out of hiding, of hibernation. You want to know? I fell into that trap. It was a bear trap. You know, one day Camille she had done something. This is when we were like, you know, she is 6, 7, 8 years old. And she had done something, you know, something silly, you know, that a kid does. And Chris was just expressing her, you know, frustration, right? That any mom or parent would do. And I started going into, I said, well, babe, you know what? You're right. And I just noticed something too. And I started getting on that bandwagon. I saw, you know, on The Exorcist when she changed.
Yes.
I was just like this. I was in mid-season. And I saw something. I don't want to say it was the devil, but I saw a woman who said, say one more word. You ain't earned that yet. We just been married about 9 months.
Yes.
And you bring up, and see, this is the good thing, y'all, that I want you to understand. Debbie brought up a really valid point and this is why conversations you need to be around blended families that have been through something.
Yep.
Get you an accountability partner. The Smiths have resources out there. You can listen to these broadcasts, because as we're talking, I'm remembering stuff from 18 years ago.
Yes.
And you made a very valid point. Don't ever weigh in on that biological parent when they're venting. Yeah. And you're now I can do it now, right? I've earned that. I've earned that respect. And me, I'm not saying now, Camille's 25, but when she was now, you know, we'd been married 2, 3, 4 years. I had earned that I could do it. But initially, and here's the other thing. It's going to come a time when you can do that. But your wife or your spouse, the biological, will let you know when it's okay to share in that venting, because I had earned that. I had been part of that process. I had went to school. I had been, you know, I was there. So you bring up a great point. You bring up a great point, Debbie. Go ahead.
And guess what? And even when you've earned it, even when you can,
you still have to be cautious.
You know,
yeah.
It does not endear me to my husband if all he has to say is negative about my kids. You know what I mean? So sometimes even when you feel something negative, if it's not a situation that, you know, talking about it right now is going to resolve it, you're going to be, let it rock. You know, it's okay to let certain things rock. Don't constantly pile on the negative. Sometimes praise the kids. Say, listen, I've been telling, you know, JD to do this, this, and this, and he has been on point. Good job, son. And keep it moving. Everything does not have to be an opportunity to talk about the negative. So just be cautious.
I think that's a great point to bring up. Wow, this has been, we're going on 10 minutes over. You've given us the 5. I'm going to have to bring y'all back again. This was really good. Edward, Debbie, and I'm going to tell you,
brother,
we got to do this again.
Absolutely.
Oh, this is some good stuff. Y'all, I want you to tell everybody where they can go to see you, to get more of you, even if it's outside of the book. How can they follow you?
Yep. So we are all over social media. So if you search for Meet the Smiths, you will see Edward and myself. We have a Facebook page. We have
a group page.
We have a group page because we do have a radio program every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can listen to it at clear.fm. Clear, CLEAR.fm. And we do broadcast it live on our Facebook page. So if you find Meet the Smiths on Facebook, you'll be able to catch that broadcast on Tuesdays. We have a website, meetthesmiths.org. You can go there, see our upcoming events. What else?
Instagram.
We have an Instagram page, Meet the Smiths too. We have a Twitter that we don't use, so I'm not even going to give you the Twitter. Listen, social media is a full-time job. It is hard to manage all of them, but mostly you'll find us on Facebook and on Instagram. And we also have a YouTube channel. If you just go to YouTube and search Meet the Smiths, you will see our Monday mornings with the... No, if they search Meet the Smiths, they'll find it too. But Monday mornings with the Smiths, we used to have a Monday morning video blog where we would do like a 5 to 10 minute video every Monday morning. We haven't done it in a while, but you can find all the past videos there. And you can email us, info@meetthesmiths.org with any questions. And of course, Amazon.com, you can purchase the books.
That's good. And what we'll make sure to do, this is going to be rebroadcast again and again. So people will see that. I will make sure. Oh, thank you. And Taria is adding all that information so people can see you. So it's
thank you, Taria. You're amazing.
Taria, we need to hire you.
She's really good. I've had Taria utilizing her services for going on a year and a half, and her and her team are really good people. So. Here's another one. So she's making sure that we get all these in. IG, Meet the Smiths. And again, this is going to be rebroadcast again. I want to touch on something that my Pastor Eric Anderson said it all depends on what's communicated and how it's communicated. And he said, notice it wasn't after 1 or 2 years. It wasn't after 10 or 12, but he said for him, it was unique to the identification, the profile of his family. He said after 3 or 4 years, he was able to give his wife advice with respect to her feelings. And that goes back to, Edward, something you said. Every family is unique. Your dynamic is different from everybody else's. And you can't expect what the Smiths went through, that the Holmes went through, that the Andersons went through, that the Hodges went through to be your experience.
Exactly.
That goes back to Deadly Venom #1.
Yes.
Unrealistic expectations.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Boy, this is going to be a good one. Ooh, this is going to be a fun. I hope people, y'all got to share this. Y'all got to share this. This is a great broadcast, y'all. Oh, and look, Eric, 10 claps for Taria. I believe he works it. She works it. Y'all, this has been an awesome program. Thank you so much. Let's do this again soon.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
I pray your safety going to Costa Rica.
Yes.
I pray that families are just solidified and those foundations either restored or built up. And so I thank y'all for sharing your transparency. Go out and see this family, guys. Go out there and follow them, get their information. This is good stuff. And remember, share this broadcast. Somebody I know needs it, because blended families are the fastest growing family dynamic in the world.
Absolutely.
And there is still not enough resources out there. I may not be able to reach you, but the Smiths might, and vice versa. But there's still not enough resources out there. So please share this. Somebody needs it. Somebody needs it. And I just want to say thank you. Y'all have a great night. We're going to catch you again. And look, here's Pastor Anderson, Costa Rica. That's one of his countries. So Pastor Anderson does quite a bit of traveling with Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And I think he was in Cuba a couple of weeks ago. He'll be in Costa Rica this upcoming year. So you never know. Y'all might be in the same country at the same time. Y'all need to get together.
Right. That would be awesome.
Yeah. So let's get together. Hey, thank y'all. All right. No, this has been great. This has been awesome. So Smith fam, and thank you for correcting me on that one. Edward and Debbie Smith.
Listen to me, bro. If you had called me Kunta Kente, it wouldn't matter, man.
And I'm like you. I don't get all caught up in it, but you have an amazing wife who corrected me and it was so smooth how she did it. It was so smooth. So hey, I want y'all to know Pastor Anderson wants y'all to connect.
Absolutely.
So make sure it's Eric James Anderson on Facebook. Go ahead and make sure y'all connect on Messenger or something, and you'll really enjoy his ministry. He's the pastor of the church I attend, and we'll take it from there. But I just want to say much success to y'all. Thank you for your transparency.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And you could pass my number on to Pastor.
I will.
No problem.
I'll do that. I'll do that right now as soon as the broadcast ends. You got it.
All right. Good night.
All right. Y'all take care. Have an amazing evening. All right. Blended Family Playbook. Catch us on the next one next week. Kim McQuitty, wife ready. She's going to be broadcasting live from our house, and she's bringing it. Her new book, it's off the chain. Y'all got to join. Share it. Wife ready, Kim McQuitty, next Sunday. Love y'all. Have a great week. Make it intentional. And the Blended Family guy wants you to know he loves you. You can make it. Y'all have a good one.
Be blessed, man.
Be blessed. You as well.